The interim results this time around reflect a declining demand of electricity in the country. It is very clear to us, and we see that quite early in terms of the low economic growth in the country, as well as the industrial unrest that has happened throughout major industries in the country, particularly the mining sector. We certainly seen part of that, not all of it. All of that impact we will feel towards our year-end results.
Sales and revenue, you can see that. And it remains a concern. I think it should be a concern from a whole South African economy. Coming from 114,000 gigawatt hours in the comparative period to just under 111,000 gigawatt hours for this year. But we've taken that into account in our MYPD3. I just need to highlight that over the period of the MYPD3 for 5 years, we're predicting growth of around 1.9% on average per annum. But that is a factor that is something we need to watch going forward.
For the first 6 months of the decrease, about 1,000 gigawatt hours came from the buybacks that we've been going through. 1,200 gigawatt hours, you know that operationally at Hillside Smelter in Billiton, there were some operational challenges around the smelter, so there has been a reduction in demand. And the mining sector contributed about 535 gigawatt hours. We have been able to, we have seen an increased demand in our neighboring countries, so we have seen an increased sales to neighboring countries, as I've indicated there. I think the question is this systemic, or is this going to change? We have seen some changes in customer behaviors. I mean, the demand-side program that we run is big, it's significant across all customer segments, including residential customers, and there's a lot more to be done, and we can see that from the efficiencies taking place. We certainly believe it's prudent that MYPD3 gets reviewed annually in any case, or on a regular basis. But it's very important that we do have a plan in the country and implement the plan.
When we did the RP, there was work done on understanding what are the scenarios. And there was actually a low growth scenario, a moderate and a high. And choices and ways of looking at how do you deal with low growth, medium and high. So if you go back to that document, you'll find some of that work. But what it did point out is until we build Kusile, we might get some relief if there's low growth. So we build Kusile, plus we will, maybe as we add more IPPs where there are risks maybe on how quickly they'll come online. But it pointed out that under most scenarios, after Kusile, you still needed to make decisions on new capacity. What you just had to do is be flexible around how you do that. Think of modular approaches, think of the type of capacity you bring online, and those are the choices we've got to make. And I think we don't want to repeat a mistake of not having enough capacity. I think that is worse. And I think that's what the country needs to be careful about. What we need to be is more flexible. That's a lesson we have to learn from our previous experience as South Africa. So how do we be flexible? How do we still create certainty for investors? And how can we be a change as the demand modifies? The RP also planned for a reduction in energy intensity, and we're seeing that. It does see that we are going to shift to more energy efficient primary sector, but also shift more into the tertiary and secondary sectors.